here we are. First video podcast, giving it a shot. And things are going good. This is a multiple episode series that we got going on here, and we're well into it. So, starting to get in the jive of things, starting to feel a little more comfortable, and just starting to get this thing rolling because I wouldn't mind having my own podcast, and I think I officially do. Even if no one's really listening, don't really care. Just going to keep on going. Got to stay consistent, and that's exactly what I'm doing. Got the camera set up, and we'll give this a try. And last night we did our first group podcast. Had 3 of my buddies, so there was 4 total people in the podcast. So check out the last episode, and lots of fun, lots of laughs, a lot of inappropriate topics, and that's what it's all about. Can't stay too censored when the boys are around because they're a little crazy, and when we get together, things get said and can't take it too seriously. So we're just out there having some fun. So if you checked out that episode, I hope you liked it because it was a lot of fun for me. That really made me happy. So if my boys are listening to this, thank you. And I had a really good time last night doing the podcast. First group podcast. It just felt like kind of surreal, We had a couple technical difficulties starting it up. The system wasn't really working that I record on. Kept freezing, kept stopping, said not enough room or something like that. Can't record. I think it just said straight up can't record. Didn't give me any reason. We just kept trying things, and eventually it just started working. So we had the 3 mics, and I was determined to do that podcast because I had ordered some new cords and everything and a new boom arm for one of the mics, and I ordered it to the wrong address, and a new order wouldn't have arrived at a proper time. So just had to make do, made it work, and I was pretty excited. We were going to call it quits. I was about to just shut it down, say, forget it, no podcast. Sorry, boys. And they didn't really care. They were like, okay. I don't know if they would have been too disappointed, but I would have been disappointed, and pretty sweet that these guys just let me record them and talk. And that's what it's all about. I these solo ones are great. I can do it whenever I want. Just hop on, and I feel this need inside, even though there's no viewers, nothing. I feel like I need to just get on there and talk, and that's what I'm doing. My pregnant wife is upstairs taking a nice nap, so I cuddled for a little bit. Then I slipped my arm out of there and decided to come downstairs to do a podcast because I ain't sleeping. I ain't creating life right now. So she's up there creating life, and I'm with her. But once she's asleep and cozy in her blankets, I'm coming downstairs. I'm doing a podcast, and I think she'll understand that, and that's okay. I think that's okay. I'll be with her every step of the way, but during those resting hours where she's unconscious, I'm going to be conscious and trying to get the podcast going. So we'll see what happens when we have the baby, if that's going to change. Probably we'll have less time, but maybe baby will like when I podcast, and baby can just hang out while I do the podcast, and that might be cool. Never know. So in a couple other podcasts ago, I was talking about going to the public sauna, and you meet all sorts of characters, right? Heard this one guy chatting. Buddies and I just had a nice workout up in the gym, and then we decided to go do a sauna, and heard this one young fella. He's out there chatting up another guy, and they're talking about all sorts of things, talking about taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, whatever. The one guy kind of leaves. Then the young man starts talking to another guy. They start chatting podcasts, talking, Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn. And I asked the guy, I said, hey man, have you heard of the Feel Nice podcast? And of course, and nobody in the sauna knew what that was. Little did they know, it's me. I'm the Feel Nice podcast. So I had to take the matters in my own hands and, introduce myself. And I did. And I met a young influencer named Noah Chandler. And he is a up-and-coming influencer, and he's doing his thing. He's, I believe, doing some vlogging and all sorts of YouTube videos. He's got TikTok. He's doing fitness stuff, and just going through his YouTube right now and just checking it out. And he's maybe even becoming a model or had done some modeling stuff. He seems like he's on the right path, and he's got a good mindset. So Noah Chandler, I'm gonna hopefully maybe have him on the podcast soon. And yeah, he seems like a cool young guy, and I'm just excited to hear his point of view in life and what he's up to. He said that he likes to go up into the gym and live stream in the gym, which is crazy. I thought that was pretty wild. So he said he could even be a little bit egotistical and a bit of an asshole, and I like that. But it sounds like he's got his head on the proper head on his shoulders, and I think he has a good balance of everything. So I want to hear everything about that. He said that his dad is a pretty interesting fellow as well, and he even said, "Can I have my dad on the podcast?" And we'll see what's up. See what's up with Noah. He has the same name as my friend Noah, who was on the podcast with the boys, and yeah, I don't know how old this guy is. I think maybe early 20s, and we'll see what's up, So it's kind of funny when I was talking to Noah, talking to Noah Chandler in the sauna there, kind of networking a little bit, exchanged our contact details and stuff. My friend Connor said, "Do you know who that other guy in the sauna was, who was just kind of chilling, listening, not saying much?" I was like, "No, who?" And he said, "That's one of the Zab twins." And I was like, "One of the Zab twins? Tell me about that." So little did I know there was another YouTube guy in there, one of the two Zab twins, I guess. And I didn't catch his first name, but looks like they have a YouTube channel called the Zab Twins, and they're doing YouTube. It looks like they're doing a bunch of Amazon stuff, like how to make money, maybe some unboxing videos. It looks like Zab Twins are doing like how to become a millionaire. They posted that video 2 days ago. They're doing all these sort of like entrepreneurial videos, I think, and they I wish he spoke up and said something, but I'm happy my friend knew who he was, and I couldn't believe it. So maybe I'd be so blessed to have the Zab Twins on my podcast sometime. I know I'm not a big podcaster one day, but you really never know. Love to, I've dabbled in a lot of different little ways to try and create income online, so I'd love to try and figure it out, because I've failed every time. I've tried drop shipping, tried like some Amazon stuff, tried creating my own website, haven't had any success, and I don't really plan on it. It's not my forte, but it sounds like the Zab Twins know what they're doing, so I'd be very interested to learn more from them. Maybe they'll be able to give me some tips on my podcast and stuff, and I wonder if they even have a podcast. I'm not really sure, but pretty cool. So I'll tag both these guys, all these guys in the video, and maybe I'll drop a comment and say I'm the guy from the sauna, and see what's up, and maybe I'll run into them again. Hopefully they don't think I'm weird, but that's all right. That's just another thing with me. I'm just worried about what people are thinking of me, but I had to. So yeah, like when this guy Noah Chandler was speaking in the sauna about the podcast, I almost didn't say anything and kept quiet, but just something inside me, I had to say something. So when I brought up the podcast, they were like, "Oh, like, what do you even talk about?" And all I could really even think of is like, I'm just trying to figure it out. And I'm just trying to, I didn't really have an answer for them. So just kind of everything and anything, just trying to figure myself out, figure out this podcast. And yeah, I think, I feel like they appreciated that. Actually, I think they knew where I was coming from, and maybe they felt the same way at some point. But these guys are big. They're way bigger. And I appreciate the respect they were giving me, and I thought they might make fun of me, but they didn't. And Noah actually said he would be down to be on my podcast, so maybe I'll have him over one day and we can do the podcast, and that'd be really cool because it seems like he's into fitness and stuff, and so really cool stuff. And that was like, honestly, like that happened over 2 days. So yesterday did the group podcast with my buddies, and I had a great time. Hopefully they did too. Like an hour and a bit of podcasting. And then the day before that we were in the sauna, and I recorded a podcast before that on that day, posted it, and then we're in the sauna talking about podcasts. And I was like, this is like happening real quick. Like I'm already doing podcasts. Like I just, this has been on my mind for years, and then I just started doing it. And next thing I know, I met a guy that's down to do the podcast. Never met him before. And then I ran into one of the Zab twins, and I didn't even know it. And thank goodness for my buddy who pointed that out, because you never know. I'd be very inclined to maybe see what's up with all these guys. So pretty cool stuff. You just got to get yourself out there, and don't be afraid to speak up. And that's something that I'm trying to do, trying to speak up a little bit, maybe stop being so antisocial. I'm very to myself in public. I don't like to talk to people, but I need to change that in my life. So that's what I'm trying to do, and hopefully that's the right thing to do, and hopefully that pays off, and I can meet some cool people and learn about their point of view and learn some awesome stuff. And I think that's awesome. I'm not just saying that too. Like that's just something I need to do. I'm an antisocial guy, and I get anxiety when I have to do social stuff with people I'm not super comfortable around or confident around. Even this is with random people, but this is even with people that I know. I feel that way, and I think by talking to all sorts of people that I'm just meeting and learning the proper conversation skills, I can maybe overcome that. And becoming a first-time dad, I think that's important to teach your child that like you need to be able to talk to people, not strangers, but be social, appreciate everyone. So that's something that I need to learn, and I hope to pass that down to my child when it's born. So pretty cool stuff. Yeah. And we got a good sweat in the sauna. I was just really hoping that I'm sorry, I wish I knew the one Zab twin. I wish I knew his name, but I feel like after my friend told me about him, I was like, I felt like he was going to speak. Like there was a point, we were in the steam room after, and he was in there, and I thought maybe he was going to say something about himself or his bro or both of them. And he didn't say anything, and that's all good, man. Like I feel that way all the time about stuff, whatever it is. Like I sometimes feel like I don't want to even say anything, and he's probably just in the same boat. He's like, I don't need to say anything, but gotcha. So I'll leave a comment on your latest video, which seems to be how to become a millionaire in your early 20s, and it says my story. So maybe they've already made $1 million, and that would be something to find out how to do that, because if you can make $1 million, you could be financially free for some time, and you can really focus on what matters in your life, and you can try and figure it out in that way. So yeah, become a millionaire in your early 20s. I'm already past the early 20s, but I imagine you can probably do it at any age. I don't think there's a cap on age to become a millionaire. I hope not. So And that's not really my ultimate goal. I don't want to become a millionaire, but I want to be able to support my family and be stable. So that's what it's all about. Maybe these guys can tell me what's up. So that's awesome, and everything's going well. Had a really good time doing that podcast. Check it out again if you haven't seen it yet. If you're even listening to this, whoever might run into this, really fun, and hope to do more of those group podcasts coming up. And it's a beautiful Sunday right now where there's actually snow coming down. So we got snow coming down, first of the winter season, and we're going to be getting cold over the next few days. And I think where I live in Vancouver, Canada, I think I saw an article saying we could get as low as negative 15 degrees Celsius, which is 15 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit is 5 degrees Fahrenheit. So take that and take it how you want it. We're going to be 5 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 15 degrees Celsius coming up this week. And the salters and snowplow guys are doing their thing. They are out there salting. They're salting the sidewalks. They're shoveling the sidewalks. And quite frankly, I think everybody's doing a good job right now. It's not the craziest snow we've ever had, but it's not nothing. So good job, guys. Good job, snowplow guys and ice melt guys. Everybody's doing a good job so far. And I know it's a weekend, so people might be making that extra money, and that's awesome. I'm happy about that for everyone. Some of these snow companies are making a lot of money, but we haven't really had a big snowy season, so hopefully they are making some money, and hopefully it's working out for everybody. So that's that physical labor, baby. That's what they're doing out there. They're just shoveling, they're salting, they're driving trucks around, they're driving ATVs, quads with plows on it. People bringing the kids to work, learning how to shovel snow. Saw a guy on Facebook. He posted a really nice funny thing, and it said free snow shoveling classes starting in 1 hour. Meeting location, my driveway. Boom. That's comedy. I thought that was pretty funny. So I think the guy's name was Ron on Facebook, one of our local neighbor groups on Facebook. That guy, I think he's always posting stuff on there. He might even be, we have one guy that on the Facebook neighborhood group, he's always posting the weather forecast. So he's, if there's a windstorm coming, expect power outages, prepare your emergency equipment, this and that. And I think that might be Ron. I think that might be the guy that made that joke, and good on him, because that's hilarious. Facebook groups. There's a lot of characters in those Facebook groups, and it keeps me entertained because you can go on there, you can see people going at it, you can see people bickering at each other, you can see all kinds of stuff. And a couple things that I've noticed are that on Facebook that people are asking for money all the time and asking for help, asking for food, asking for money is the big one. And how do I feel about that? I don't mind it. People got to do what they got to do. If they're in a rough spot and they need money, I mean, hey, they're out there on Facebook asking for money, asking strangers for money in their local groups. However, all I hope is they need the money and they're not doing it, because I saw this one guy, and he was a father of 4 or something like that. Said he's a single dad. Everything's going to shit. He's having a rough time in life. He had to sell his car. So he's trying to make some money. He's trying to save some money to buy a new car. Okay. So I go on his GoFundMe, see what's up. I see he's raised about $2,000 or so in a matter of, I'm talking, a couple days. And I think that's insane. That's great. What great people in the community to be giving that guy the money. So I go on the guy's Facebook page. His career, he said he's an entrepreneur. That's his career. That's what it says he does as a job. Entrepreneur. And man, I'm just hoping this guy's telling the truth. Hopefully he needs some money and he's just not scamming people. But whatever, not my business. You know, if that's what you consider being an entrepreneur, you gotta check yourself. But if you are an entrepreneur and it's just not working out right now and you're in a pinch, totally respect it. Totally respect it. I'm pissed at the scammers. Scammers these days, I think they're the worst they've ever been. I think scamming is out of control right now, especially with elders. My grandparents were recently just scammed out of, I think, over $2,000 themselves. They got a message, thought it was a family member needing money. It all worked out because the family members were out of town, and it seemed super legit. And, you know, sent over an e-transfer because it just seems so casual. They had actually a different number because they were out of the country. They used a different, got a different SIM card or whatever phone chip that gave them a different number. So it was a different number that was texting them. It all seemed super normal, but unfortunately it was not the relative that went out of the country, and they were scammed for over $2,000. And when it's like your grandparents, that is not fun to hear. So talked to them on the phone the other day, and they're all good. They learned a lesson, valuable lesson, I guess, but they didn't need to learn that. That's not a fun lesson to have to learn, and that's just not fair. So that's why if I ever get more, like whenever a scam caller calls me, I am putting them to work, man. Like, and you should too. You should just put those guys to work. Just, pardon my French, but just fuck with them as hard as you can. Just do whatever you can. Waste their time. If you got time to kill, if a scammer is calling you, if it's ever TELUS or Rogers or any like phone company that's calling you, they're never they're fake. They're a scammer every time, 100% of the time. They're a scammer. And even if it's not, even if it really is Rogers or TELUS or whatever phone provider, if it's actually legit, try and get some proof. But 9 times out of 10, it's a scam caller. And just mess them up. Just waste their time, act as if like you agree to everything that they say. Be like, yeah, I want this, I want it all. Say, I want it all, and I want that one. Like whatever they offer you, you can just you just say yes. And then what they're going to do, so basically what they usually do is they offer you a great plan, like $40 per month, unlimited data, however you like to say it. And they'll also say they're going to give you an iPhone 16, like whatever the most recent iPhone is. Then they're going to start asking you all your address and stuff like that, and just really give them a hard time about it. Just waste their time. And then eventually just do something so obnoxious that they figure out that you're messing with them. And you are going to get yourself into a really fun time with these guys. They're going to get frustrated. They're going to start swearing at you. And you just won't even believe it. You won't even believe it. And it's probably one of the most entertaining things that will ever happen to you in the entire week, if that's your type of thing that you like to do. So I mentioned it in a previous podcast. This is what I do, and they've actually stopped calling me, unfortunately. So I'm still waiting for these scammers to call me back. It's been, I'd say, 2-3 weeks since I got my last call. I missed one random number call me, I think at 5 a.m, and I was sleeping, and I missed it about a week ago. So I was pretty upset about that. But yeah, so if you'd be so blessed to receive a phone call from a scammer, just have some fun with it, and don't give them any of your information. It's not TELUS, it's not Rogers. They're not giving you a good deal. And if you think it just might be, just say, get like an employee number or something, get some sort of reference, and then say, I'm going to call you guys right back, and then just call them back on their general number, and they'll tell you it's a scam, and thanks for reporting it. And so that's the I guess lesson learned from scamming. And it sucks because like my wife's grandparents were even scammed. I think they were scammed by somebody who claimed to be TELUS. I think they fell for it because they have TELUS and it seems so legit. They got scammed. I think they ended up giving their credit card number, something like that, to them. And these people are just lowlives and they deserve to get messed with. And your entertainment is what you get out of that. So take it as a positive when they call you. Don't get upset. Don't like tell you to say, don't take me off your call list, because that's not going to work. Just mess with them. Fuck them. Sorry, I don't mean to swear. I know I try on the solo ones to watch my mouth, but honestly, that's just, it's just not cool. You shouldn't be scamming elderly people. That's not a proper way to make money if you want to make money. So I'm sure maybe I can talk to the Zab twins about that, making the scam caller, see if they know anything about it. If only there was a way to scam the scammers. And I think that's the best idea I have, is to scam the scammers by waste their time, as long as you have the time to waste as well. It's not really a waste of your time. Consider it's entertainment, right? So just go ahead, and if you have the time to spare, do it. And if not, then just hang up on them. But I'm just hoping I get another call one of these days soon. And I like to, on the iPhone now, you can record the conversations. So as soon as they call, I just kind of say like, hey, just hold on one sec. I'm just, loading my car up. And they wait. They're patient. They'll do whatever you say because you're a potential victim. And then there's a little button on the new iPhone, new iPhone system, iOS, I guess, like the latest one. You can actually record phone calls now. So there's all sorts of fun stuff you could do, and you can basically do prank calls without even calling people. And that's something I grew up with. I grew up with prank calls. We used to go on Skype, and on Skype you'd be able to just call numbers. I don't know if you can still do that, but you'd be able to just call numbers on Skype as like a private number, and we would be up all night calling company. We'd be just, we're young and we don't know that we're wasting people's time, but just fun for us. Just call places and just be silly, and so that's just whatever. Nothing illegal, but probably prank calling is probably illegal, and and so just don't arrest me for that. On other news, let me just think for a sec, because I'd actually one of my goals for the podcast is to come up with some topics to talk about, and before this one, I had 2 topics to talk about, and I've already, I've got both of them done, and I've, thought of more on the way, and I don't have more. So I feel like I am trying to evolve and trying to grow a little bit by doing little by little each day. And I think this spontaneous get down here and record is on the top of my list. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do what I want when I want for the podcast, and hopefully that my wife is all good with it. And I'm trying not to become too obsessed with this. I have a bit of when I find something I like to do, I get a little bit obsessive, and I'm starting to see myself get a little bit obsessive with this. And hopefully it's not just like a thing where I record 10 episodes and drop it. Hopefully I can just keep going and maybe, get up to 100 episodes, or just keep going. And maybe by 100 episodes, I'll have a couple people that interact and comment, ask questions, and maybe call me or something like that. And I can have some live calls, or you could send me a voice clip, ask a question, and I can give you an answer for it. And these are all types of things that I want to try and do for the solo podcast. Just unfortunately, most people, when they do podcasts, they're doing interviews, and there's always a new guest. But in my situation, the best guest I can have at the moment is myself, for when I get the urge to do this. So I'm just going to keep doing the solo podcast, and if you like it, that's great. And if not, out of luck, because this is all I can do, and I feel like that is great. I just feel super blessed that I can just hop downstairs and do the podcast, have like, yeah, I got like this seat here, I got a seat over there, we had another seat over here, we had 3 mics going, 4 dudes, 3 mics, pretty good. One day I'd like to get 4 mics. My friends are so funny, they're just like, I'm so like, I was getting so pissed off when I couldn't get everything to work, and it was partially on me because I didn't figure out how to get the add another mic, like add a third mic before they got here, and I probably should have done that, but I was not prepared. I didn't test anything, and I was trying to figure it out when they got here. So they were upstairs like hanging out with the ladies and stuff like that, and then eventually I just like was like, okay, I think we're ready. And then they came downstairs, and then shit hit the fan. It wasn't recording, and I was like, oh, this is. I was honestly embarrassed. I was like truly embarrassed. And they're like, why? I just kept saying, oh, this is so embarrassing. They're like, what do you, like, why? And I was like, I don't know. My buddy had just done like a 35 kilometer, which is, let me just look up, 35 km 2 miles is, so he did a 35 kilometer, around 22 mile run in the snow up a mountain. He had just done that day. So he had done that run, 35 kilometers equals 22 miles. He did that. He said it was like, I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly how much like movement time. He said anywhere from like 3.5 hours to like 4 hours or something like that of like movement time. And that's like crazy. So poor guy just did that, and then we went out for dinner, and he's probably exhausted, and then comes over here, and I'm like, let's do a podcast. And he was down. He was a trooper, and he even trooped out for the 1 hour of like technical difficulties, and I almost gave up, but stuck through it. And thank you, Connor. Thanks for doing that, man. And I could tell by the end of the hour he was like getting pretty drained, so we called it quits. But I feel like that's just something I could just go, like if I'm just sitting there with some friends and we're just talking about some bullshit and just going on, I could do that for hours. So that was a good test. I've done a couple tests like that before, but that was the first one I've ever posted. The first couple tests were like so like insanely provocative and just like mentioning too many names and stuff. It was just those were throwaways. Those were good tests, but I couldn't, you got to be a little bit careful about who and what you're talking about. So it's pretty good stuff. And I just feel responsible, like if I'm recording myself and then posting it, I feel responsible for what I'm saying and what I'm posting. I don't want to say anything too bad. Like I don't, I feel like it's even though nobody's really even going to hear this and nobody's listening, I feel that I do have a responsibility to not go over the top and say something that I will regret one day. And you're all good. You can have fun, you can screw around and joke around. If you're with buddies, sometimes if drinks are flowing, you say some crazy stuff, and as long as we don't get taken too seriously, that's all good. And I'm just happy to do it. So yeah, it's a good time, and that was really fun. And I just hope to do that again. I think we will. I'd like to have maybe my wife on at one point if she'd be willing. I'm not sure. She's kind of like a question mark. I don't know how she'd feel about doing a podcast or like me posting it or whatever, but I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be good memories. And she's a pregnant woman. Like I'd like to hear about. I think people would be interested to find out what it's like to be a pregnant woman, and like what are you feeling like and things like that. You're creating a life form, and I don't know how many people have been interviewed on podcasts about being pregnant, so that could be fun. And yeah, she's a good person, and she's really nice and really smart. She's an accountant. She's so smart, so good with her education. She was so smart. She is so smart. Her job, she's so smart. Her learning on becoming a first-time mother up to this point, she's so smart. She's figured out like everything we need, and we just have got everything we need. And like, I'm so happy that like I have a partner that can, I guess, like think about real life and like what is needed, and has like a realistic perspective on life. So really cool that she's like that. I'm like that too, but I also am a dreamer. I like to kind of think big and do things a little bit more risky. Nothing too risky, but I'm more of a risk taker, and like to try things. But she keeps my head on straight, and she's like, when I go too far, she'll reel me in a little bit and say, hey, like, you gotta tone it down, or she'll let me know. So I think that's good to have as well. Sometimes I'm just like like it's hard to hear, because then you don't feel like you don't feel, I don't know. It's all good though. Like, I think that's just she keeps me leveled, and I don't go too out of control. So I don't know where I'd be without her. I don't know what I'd be doing. I'd be probably single guy living in my apartment still, but now I'm in like I married her, and we are doing life really awesome together, and yeah, it's fun. We're having fun right now, but I do feel bad because she is in lots of pain, because we are, you know, we're in the last final bit of pregnancy, and it's hard to see your loved one when they're in pain. So I hope it all goes smooth, and really excited to see if we're going to have a boy or girl. We don't know. We have no idea. It's going to be a surprise. So pretty exciting stuff. And I'm getting older. Like, it's finally like happening. Like, I'm getting older, and to some I'm not old, but to some I am getting older. Like, when I was talking to what I think is young Noah in the sauna, he seemed like, I was like, wow, like this guy's like young guy. Like, and I just respected that, and I was like, I don't know how old he is. I'll have to ask him, but when I see younger people, like the high school crowd, and like 19 years old, I'm like, dang, I'm like, I'm 10 years older than you, and that's not a huge age gap, but like, I'm like, wow, it's just like, I just feel like I'm not like that young guy that I used to be anymore. And I know if you're older than 30, you're like, buddy, you have no idea what you're talking about. You're still young. And I got to remember that. But I think you're only as young as you feel, as they say. And I'm feeling nice. So that's all I care about. As long as I'm feeling good, as long as I'm feeling nice, it's really all I care about. So I guess we'll take it with that, and everything's going to be A-okay. So that's it for today's podcast. Thank you very much if you've made it this far, and hope to have some more guests in the future. Thank you for listening. Bye.